Hi, I'm Sagie and I'm from OctaSec, and today we're gonna deep dive into the one of the most important, but least the last people talk about in the SIEM system is the connectors. It's the part that collect all the logs, normalize them, and filter them, and enrich our logs. It's the one that you define if our system will see all the picture or will remain blind. So let's dive in. And before I start all this, I'm Sagie. I'm doing cybersecurity for at least the last 17 years, and my forte is connectors and SIEM, and other also do penetration testing and IR and data forensic. But let's dive into what we come to talk about today. So, what is a connector? Connector is basically the part that translate between the real world and the SIEM. It's collect log from the different system, like the firewall, like the Windows, the Linux servers, and your 465, Wazuh, and everything on the cloud, and bring them in unified format, what we call normalization, into the SIEM that the system can understand. Without connectors, there is no visibility. And you know how to read all the data and do parsing and translate them to a defined field, like the source IP, user, the severity of the event, and so on. So how the normalization being processed? So normalization is the event when we translate the log, the different log to unified language. Like a thread login event can come differently from Linux. They can come differently from Windows. They can come differently from the firewall. They can they can come differently from other firewalls. Like checkpoint log will not be the same like Palo Alto and stuff like that. But after the normalization, everybody will get the same field names, and you can build one rule to catch them all, like one ring to catch them all. Like a failure to connect that proceed over 5 times. And like if the worker come and he puts the badge in the badge reader and type his username and password, so I can say that David is the same David that entered to the door, and the other one is the David that logged into the system. Because the normalization, I can connect and correlate between those names. Okay, the safe common event format. It's one of the most known format. Safe is developed by ArcSight, and it's the textual format that just contain the name of the vendor, the name of the product, and the identifier of the event, like the name of the event, the severity, the source, the destination, and the user. Okay? And the advantage of this normalization platform is every system can understand it in the same language. Okay? So now we're getting the logs, we're getting normalized. Okay? So the next step is to how we filter logs. Okay? So this is the command log. You can see it, safe, and version number. And after that, Microsoft is the product vendor, product name, and the event name, and where it come from, who is the user, and so on. Okay, so filtering event logs safely. So connectors allow us to filter logs before they reach the SIEM. It's a safe place. It's safe place, and it's a place, and we save your money, and it's also dangerous because if we filter the wrong information, we'll lose critical information. Like if we filter save logs, so yeah, we will save some EPS, but or maybe some cost or license, but we'll use critical information, and it's important to filter only the logs that repeat themselves, or maybe to aggregate them to aggregation. But logs that repeat themselves, like heartbeat or stuff like that, we don't usually need. So if we do pre-filtering to just filter the noise that you know about, all the rest of the filtering will be linked to the rules inside the SIEM. So even in the SIEM rules, there is filtering. So, okay. Let's talk about the other side, enrichment of information. Enrichment is the ability of the connector to put context to event. Like if the IP address is translated to a name of a company, or maybe a building that you need to go to, and you use the full name or the identification of the geographic place. Like if you have multiple locations or multiple departments, multiple floors, and you want, and the event is happening, and you want to send there maybe the chief, the security, or maybe you want to know if this is a server or a workstation or stuff like that. The enrichment of the information can bring you context to something that is context-less. Like if you see IP address, you don't know where the person that made it sit on or sit at. Or maybe it's a server, maybe it's a computer, maybe it's a workstation, maybe it's a kiosk. It can be a lot of other stuff. So it's give us better understanding, and also to lesser the false positive. Linux versus Windows. So connector works in Windows. They work with WMI or API or event logs or WinRM. It's all based on a very defined and easy to understand base. But in Linux, also the logs is basically syslog or file reader. It's raw data that you need to analyze with regex and the right regex. And some of the SIEMs do it like in QRadar. It's normalize the regex and give you some GUI tool, nice GUI tool to do it. In ArcSide, you need to write the regex on your own and add it to certain very specific folder, and to do other stuff in the connector to make it work. Another difference, we just send events in the format of XML that is pre-structure, or Linux based on free text. So parsing of Linux, you need more definition and more precise to do it more precisely. Okay, mapping and taxonomy. After the connector normalizes the event, you also map it to logical category like authentication or failed. And it also allows the SIEMs to build generic rules like 5 events of authentication or failed, and after them 5 authentication or maybe 5 success. It's a brute force. It's one of the abilities that make the SIEMs system smart, and also why connectors are so important. Let's talk about super connectors. Super connectors, it's a very unique device. It also you can in ArcSide, the super connectors are forwarders. They can forward all the events in a very logical way to the SOAR, or maybe to the EDR, or maybe to other stuff. It's also a way to connect between other like if you have work in MSSP and you want to connect multiple clients to one ESM, so you can do it with super connectors, or you can connect the super connector to multiple sources, and it will do multiple parsing and enrichment and filtering. It's also know how to balance loads between the different server. It's a must-have tool in MSSP or big organization. You also allow a central control and high performance and less headache in management. So, to best practices, keep your software updated, enable debug logs, document and filtering and password, and you need to document everything, and to monitor events and topology and latency, and see if you need to have like a there is the in OctaSec there is like a system that prints all the connector, and you see if your connector has been caching logs, and if you got a problem, if maybe more than the logs that come in, it cannot process them all quite quickly. It's happened mostly with Windows connectors. And the common mistake is filtering difficult event and ignoring time zones and over enrichment data. It also can be a problem. And you can run out unstable or network paths. And so the key takeaway is the connector are the foundation of every SIEM. And proper configuration is fast detection and fewer first positive. Super connector, stability of control, and if there is no, the connector is basically the other system that is the one that translates chaos of information into understandable events. And without a connector, there is no rules, there is no identification, and there is no protect. And remember, a strong SIEM is only powerful as its connector. Like the chain is only powerful as the weak link. So. So basically, if you like what I'm doing and you want to see more of that, do a like, click subscribe, and to see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.